Hello everyone! Today I am just going to show you a little time lapse of some bookmarks that I've made. It's my grandma's 90th birthday. She really likes to read, so we figured this would be a good idea. I always recommend sketching out your ideas first. I don't always do that, but it's a good idea because that way you have a bit of a plan on what you're doing. It's especially recommended if you're working with materials that you don't always use, so you're not 100% sure how it's going to work out. That's how I feel with watercolors, even though I decided to use them for this. When you're working with watercolors, it's always a good idea to tape down your sheet because, as you can see, it gets kind of warbly when the sheet gets wet, but if you wet the paper first and then tape it down, you won't actually get as many warbles. I also taped off the different sections for each bookmark that I was making, so that way I could work on them all at the same time, but they wouldn't bleed together. Now for this project, I'm actually using a combination of a watercolor palette and watercolor pencils. I really like watercolor pencils. They're super cool. You can use them in a different, wow, I can't English today. You can use them in a couple different ways. The two ways that I usually do it is either you can draw with it first, like what I'm doing now, and then use water after to sort of blend it around and make the nice translucent shapes that you want. Or you can do the water first and then put the pencil crayon over top of it. I find that that makes a really saturated color and it also makes a really harsh line, which is totally cool if you want that effect. So I did a bit of a mixture just to make sure I got some intense color where I wanted it and I got some lines where I wanted it, but there were also the really cool translucent watercolor effects that are usually sought after with watercolors. So my plans for these 4 bookmarks were, the first one I knew I wanted to do like a hummingbird and some flowers because my grandma loves hummingbirds. I'm pretty sure those are her favorite birds. And then the second one I just wanted some cool like sunset kind of colors. The third one I knew I wanted to do maybe like a spacey sort of whatever. The last one where I'm putting all this black in, I honestly had zero plans for it. I had no clue what I was making for it. So it's going to be an adventure trying to make that just look like anything cool. Now, after the watercolor has dried enough, I got a super fine tip Sharpie, and this is what I'm using just to make these black details. I love using black Sharpie on top of watercolors because it's just such a contrast from the nice, soft, sort of blended colors and then just like harsh lines and harsh designs. I love it. I think it looks really cool. So this, I just did some random swirly kind of mandala-ish designs just because I thought it went really well with the colors. You just have to make sure that your paper is dry when you're putting the Sharpie over top of it, otherwise it will bleed everywhere, and Sharpie is really hard to cover up, so you definitely don't want to do it on wet paper. Now here, I thought it would be cool if I could try to make the last bookmark look sort of smoky-ish, so I was just piling on some acrylic paint, watering it down, wiping some of it away, putting more black paint on it, more white paint, just sort of trying to get it to look layered and cool. I also did some splatters on the third bookmark because I really like splattered looks. And then I am going in through with the black Sharpie again on the hummingbird once she's been dried, just putting in details of like the feathers and some designs and really just making the whole bookmark pop. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, goodness gracious, Nicole, those don't really look like flowers. Well, guess what? Sometimes art can be abstract and it still looks really cool. I think you still get the idea that it's supposed to be like a flower, so that's what it is and that's how it's gonna be. Now, after just adding some white dotted highlights to the other bookmarks, I went into that fourth one that I still had no idea what I was doing and just started putting in random designs with the white paint. I actually think it looked really cool because sometimes it wasn't like a solid line, it sort of got smoky, so I'm actually really happy with how that one turned out. And there you go, that is just a simple way that you can make some cute little bookmarks. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see some more. Okay, bye-bye, yo!